gentlemen, what the world has been waiting for, what the world needs now, the one, the only, amazing, original, Johnny Blaze. Often imitated, but never duplicated. There's Johnny.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all to the original Johnny Blaze Show. It's always great to be here as I blaze right in with my parodic kick. Let's have a blazing hot fun time. A man sat next to me at the bar last night. He told me I haven't spoken to my wife in over 3 years. What went wrong, I asked him. I just don't like to interrupt her. Every marriage has 3 rings. First comes the engagement ring, then the wedding ring. Then after the honeymoon, you put your gloves on and of course, enter the boxing ring. I once met an old man who he said he was happily married, and I asked him his secret. He told me I married a lady archaeologist. The older I get, the more she's interested in me. Every time a married man talks to his wife, he should remember the conversation will be recorded for training and quality purposes. A married couple were on the news after 70 years of marriage. The husband was asked after all these years, had he ever considered divorce? Heavens no, he replied. Murder, yes, but divorce, never. Whenever I run out of money, I just use my Discover card. As long as they don't discover where I actually live, everything will be fine. On their wedding night, the husband asked his wife a question. Honey, am I your first? Why does everybody keep asking me that? The husband may wear the pants, but all of his money ends up in his wife's purse. We do have a blazing hot fun show with a special guest. He is a multi-talented singer, entertainer, comedian, impressionist, and fundraiser. So please give a big warm welcome and say hello to the one and only Tony Pace.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Tony?
That is awesome. I can hear you.
Excellent, Tony. Boy,
let me come into focus.
Yeah, you sound great, Tony. You really do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Awesome. You know what? Everybody has their own unique story in getting started in entertainment. Give me a rundown. How'd you get started in entertainment, and where are you from? And give me the whole story, Tony. Tony Pace story.
The Tony Pace story. You know what? I will tell you, if you take all of our resumes, put them all together, and just jumble and cross out a name, I bet you that 90% of everything on all of our stories are the same. I started in 6th grade. I started. A teacher, Mr. Guerrero, saw and heard me singing. I was a very shy young man, and heard me singing, and he said, "You really need to be in part of the show." And I got a taste of theater, and it was off and running. From that point on, all the way through, I've been doing theater. I've been doing bands, learning choreography. I mean, all of the different aspects of the entertainment field. That's what I tried to get to a point of becoming the director of. God guided me along the way and got me where I needed to be. And here we are. I mean, I've headlined, and the best gift of them all is that I bring smiles and laughter and happiness to people's faces, like yourself. I mean, what a better thing. There is no better thing to do than bring a little bit of a joy to people's lives, right?
I agree with you, Tony, wholeheartedly. Happiness, that's what we need. That's what's great about entertainment. You want to make people smile, make them happy. Forget about the woes. There's plenty of woes and negatives in the world, and you want to make people turn your scars into stars and bring happiness and sunshine and just love what you're doing. That's important.
You got it.
That's going to show.
You got it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and I've been practicing.
Pardon me?
No, I've been practicing. I've been watching, and I've been practicing. Now you got to tell me if I got it right.
Yes, that's great, Tony. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. Oh yeah.
I loved all those things. It was really cool to see your life and how it progressed, and just we like you say, we bring a little bit of happiness and joy to people's lives. Um, we've traveled the country. We lived in Vegas for almost 10 years. I've headlined there, headlined in Atlantic City,
Really?
and we were in Florida as well.
That's great. So where are you from originally now? Where are you?
I am originally from the Massachusetts, the suburbs of Boston.
Okay.
Lived there and grew up in that area. So we basically my wife and I went from the suburbs of Boston to New Hampshire, to California. Then we moved to California. We lived in Burbank for, I don't remember how many years. And then when the kids started to come, we moved back to the New Hampshire area for about 7 years, and then it was off to Vegas. And then from Vegas, we went to Florida to take care of my parents. And now we are in Ocean City, Maryland, and we're loving the weather. We're loving the area and loving life.
That's wonderful. So it sounds like you've had all kinds of experiences. You've had about 30 years experience in Vegas, at least?
Yeah, it's been 40 years in all.
Wow,
I started on the road probably around 1978, and started performing about 1974, 73. So it's been a great roller coaster ride.
That is really wonderful. Do you headline for probably some top performers, entertainers? I'm sure.
I have met and been part of a lot of things. Incredible artists out there. Smokey Robinson, Joan Rivers was probably the most amazing woman I have ever met. Just a heart of gold, and what a great story. I mean, I opened for her in New York. And they called me and said, my manager at the time said, can you fly to New York? I'd need you to just open for Joan Rivers, 10, 15 minutes at the most. So I'm on stage and I'm singing. I don't even remember what I was singing, and like 10 minutes goes by, and I'm just about to say, and here's Joan, and she's in the wings going, keep going. And she's in the wings, just dancing away to what I was doing, and almost a half an hour later, she goes like this, and I introduced her, and she was the most gracious, loving woman I have in the entertainment field. But I've met some great talents.
I'm sure you met some other ones too, besides Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
Now you've got a lot of recommendation endorsements. It looks like Bobby Vinton, amongst many other people, have recommended and testimonial and endorsements. You're loaded with them. You can tell me the different various testimonials and recommendations that you have.
Well, and it's funny because I'm completely humbled at the fact that some of these people have come out and been in the audience. But I joke about the fact that the testimonies and all of this plus $7 will buy you a Starbucks coffee.
I see.
They're so kind, and the bottom line is we've all been Bobby Vinton, another gem. He said, this man, if he were Polish, he'd be me. And it was just, it was great to hear some of the comments. But, Whoopi Goldberg and all of these people, it just, it's a humbling experience to see and to meet the people that we idolize or that we look up to, that we've emulated through our lives. And they're there. They're right in the audience, and they're smiling. And it gives a relevance to what we're doing. It's just such a great, it's a great gift from God as far as that's concerned, and you kind of go, thank you. I really appreciate the fact that you're here.
You've had some great memories. In fact, you're known as the man with the voice they call you, the man with a voice who just happens to be funny. And you were also, I guess, noted that the press gave you a tremendous promotional thing. They said that you were a combination of, let's see, Andrea Bocelli, Sammy Davis Jr., and Billy Crystal combined. And that's quite an endorsement.
That was an amazing, that was truly one of the most amazing gifts that I was ever given. And that came out of a press, somebody in, one of the press guys in Atlantic City. And he said, if you take Andrea Bocelli, Billy Crystal, and Sammy Davis, you put them together, you get Tony Pace. And I was blown away, because they are, all three of them, I don't feel that I even come close to one of them, let alone just have the essence of all three. But I appreciated it, and still do to this day.
Well, Tony, you're modest, but I'll tell you what, people feel they can't get enough of you. What is there about you that makes you different? They feel that they have to get a pace fix, and that you're keeping the pace going forward. That's for sure, Tony.
Well, one of the most important things to me is it doesn't end on stage. It doesn't start on stage. It's part of. I'm out in the audience, and after the performance, it's about the relationships that we create with our friends, the following, those who come. I still have people that follow me, and 40 years later, they're still friends. They're still following, and they're still asking when I need a Tony Pace fix, and that became just a point of levity, and such a great a great thought that I need a fix of me.
Well, that's quite a compliment. They must really feel that. If they didn't feel it, they wouldn't be saying all these things, these kind, great, and wonderful words about you, Tony. That's for sure. Well,
I appreciate that, and again, I hope that whatever I do, what I do on stage and off stage, is it just resonates and brings brings something to their lives, and makes it all the better of the day.
Well, tell me about what's a typical day as an entertainer and singer.
Well, the one thing that I love is the variety of the show that I'm able to put together. A lot of it is all improv, so I will, that comical mind aspect. There are times where I'll see something and I'll say, "Ooh, this works." So during the day, as you can see behind me, this is a sound stage that we put together, and we can do virtual performances, as well as recordings and everything else. So we're constantly working and doing things and testing new material out, testing different things out, and during the course of the day, it's just a matter of all of us kind of brainstorming and saying, okay, where are we going with this, and what do you think of this? So it's just a lot of times it's just hit or miss, and we can put it all together and practice it until our heart's delight, but until you put it out there and have an audience absorbing it and really just kind of giving that energy back and giving the critique of what it is, it just kind of morphs itself. A routine can actually take 6 to 8 months to really get to a point where that's where I want it to be. It just keeps renovating. It keeps little pieces there and here, and then I just love what I do as far as that's concerned.
You have it looks like I think a 3 or 4 octave voice. Your voice is extremely high. It's a tenor voice. You can really hold those notes, and it's like vibrate it and really hold the notes, and you're really truly into what you're doing. That takes a special talent. Not just anybody can do that, Tony. Well, I
appreciate it. That is, we're all given gifts from God, and I will tell you, I have tried to use that and use every gift that I've been given to to the best of my possibility. And I started in college. I went to music school at Boston University, and I was a first tenor, and I actually made Michael Jackson sound like a baritone back then, and it was a lot of fun. I was trained classically, and then I moved from the classical end. While I was at Boston University, I was also performing and traveling on tour and with bands, and it's been a great ride, and I've loved all of the different music that I've been able to.
What is your favorite type of music and venues that you have performed at? Do you prefer country or rock or pop or jazz or folk, or could be anything?
You know what? I love the variety of it. My show is like a time machine, and I go from Johnny Cash, Gary Puckett, oh my goodness, Boy George. I mean, all of these different artists, Bobby Darin. It's just what I try to do is it's just an eclectic version of music. And one of the things that I love is, I'll say, how many people in the audience, how many of you like the music of the 70s? And if I see that the majority of people love the 70s, then I will just go and just sit on the 70s for however long period of time. Music-wise, I love Broadway. Broadway's probably one of my favorite. Is a long answer, but I love Broadway. I love the power of the song and the story behind Broadway. Bring 'Em Home is one of my favorite songs. There's a lot of great material out there.
Year of the Night, I think. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you love Broadway? Oh yeah.
Yes.
So you love about Broadway. What is it? The lights, the enthusiasm of the audience, the music, everything about it. The background.
Yep. It's when you're on stage, when I'm doing a performance, even on in Vegas or somewhere else, the show is still sort of an essence of Broadway. For me, I try to instill an essence of Broadway, and it's just like that one-man show. But some of the material, again, when the sentiment of it. And I joke about the fact that I'll say 1984, I was on Broadway in 1984. I was actually not in a Broadway show. I was just in New York at the time on Broadway. And it's been great doing all of the different aspects of Broadway. I did a fundraiser, and they wanted a Broadway theme, so I was in my glory, just one tune after another of all Broadway memories and music that I love to do.
That's great. So you have any most happy memories that stand out as far as your career in entertainment? Now you've done entertainment, and apparently you and also you could show me some impressions instead of depressions, of course, some of those. And if you want to demonstrate some of your singing talents too later on, or whatever, you're certainly welcome to. Have at it there, Tony.
We can do whatever. We're set to. If you want some samples of music, we can definitely do that. The impersonations, that was a sort of a mother of necessity. Somebody at one point said, "Can you do?" They needed an impersonation of Louis Armstrong, and I'm thinking Louis Armstrong, and I was, I'm thinking, oh, I can try. And if we've got a few seconds, I can even,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love to hear it.
All right. But Louis Armstrong, this was probably my first impersonation. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I would watch the Ed Sullivan Show. You remember the Ed Sullivan Show?
Oh, yeah.
That voice. Remember that?
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright pleasant day and the dark secret night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Bravo. Bravo. That's blazing hot. That sounds just like Louis. Boy, if you didn't know it, you would think it's Louis Armstrong. That's for
Thank
sure.
you so much. Thank you.
I love it. With the music and the voice and the accent. It's
I appreciate that. I appreciate
You're welcome. If you have any other ones, you're welcome to demonstrate.
Now, do you like country music?
Oh yeah, I love country music.
I love country. The first time I fell in love with this man and his music and style from the first time I heard him say, "Hi, my name is Johnny Cash. My wife goes to Starbucks all the time. Never spends everything on the dime. Never brings back anything for me unless it's free. Unless it's free. Never brings me back anything unless it's free."
I walk the line. Boy, you're making
the line.
And you're making it comical too.
and exactly, and that's one of the things that I started to do sort of haphazardly. I started to make them parodies, and I started creating parodies. There was one. Now I impersonate some female characters as well, Cher and some of these others.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is, like, I was doing a show. It was all construction guys, and I out and started singing Cher with a wig, and I heard the one guy in the front row he looks up and he goes, "That's just wrong, just wrong."
That's wrong.
But I love some of the doing the impersonations. And it's funny that even some of the impersonations now, like Jimmy Stewart, right? People don't even know who Jimmy Stewart is anymore. George Carlin, and there are so many incredible artists that are part of our history, but people don't even know who they are anymore.
Well, those are famous. Oh yeah,
they are. They are. They're icons. They're truly icons.
Jimmy Stewart, that's fine. Go ahead.
Jimmy, and it's just this. There's this kid came in the other day, and one of the things that I love singing that rap stuff. This is my favorite. Let me see. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me get the. I like big. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Yeah, all the brothers can't. And when a girl walks in with an itty bitty and a big thing, and you get sprung.
I like that. What you're doing is you're doing Baby Got Back, you're doing it, but you're doing sounding like Jimmy Kimmel. You know what you can say instead of Baby Got Back, Baby Got Front, doing Jimmy.
Baby Got Front, yeah, that's it.
You can be creative. I remember John Wayne. Listen, partner, you try to get off the horse, but you fell down. You might say I'm insane. I'm the one that John Wayne, and I'm not insane.
Exactly. There's some so much, you know, the icons of our history, and you know, I pray the fact that we don't lose and they continue to be the icons. You know, back in the 70s, we had that. Remember the radio announcer during the 70s, right? This is Casey Kasem counting down the hits. Tonight, the amazing original Johnny Blaze performing live for you. Here's Johnny.
Love it. Boy, that's great. Casey Kasem. Like I say, there's so many of them.
Yeah, there are. There really are.
Oh yeah, I know a few impersonations myself. better impressions instead of depressions. That's for sure.
There you go. I love it. I love it.
I'll do a few for you myself. I'll do a few for you, and then we'll go. Miss Purdy, when'd you get the formula, Miss Purdy? Get up here. Don't you know what's going on? Can't steal your left hand from your right. You clutch your butterfinger. What's wrong with you, Julius? Get the formula. Jerry Lewis. You like that?
That's good.
Or Richard Nixon. I am the president. You'll never have Tricky Dick to kick around any longer. Pat and I are going to the White House to pat it all down and take care of business. I don't care what you think, not now or never. I'm tired of people taking me around. I'm Dick Nixon. I'm the president.
Well, you may be the president, but well, no.
That's Ronald Reagan. Oh yeah.
They got rid of you.
Ronald Reagan.
Great. There you go. We'll do a show of presidents, the dead presidents talking to each other in heaven.
Oh, here's another one you'll like. I do not shrink from responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange pleasure with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion, which we bring to this endeavor, will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man.
Jack.
What about ink, ka-dink, 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 ink, ka-dink, 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 ink, ka-dink, 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 ink, ka-dink, 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 ka-dink.
I don't remember his name. Who used to ink?
Jimmy Durante.
I think it's Jimmy Durante. Oh,
yeah. I thought I'd surprise you with a few impressions.
Foster Brooks. For Foster Brooks.
Oh yeah, he's great. He used to be drunk.
Yep. Yeah.
How about Don Rickles? Can you do Don Rickles?
No.
What is your secret now, Tony? What is your secret on someone else? Try to get their accent, their inflection, to get everything just right as far as doing your impressions and your voice. It takes a certain type of ability, that's for sure.
Well, it truly does, and I don't consider myself a hardcore impressionist. I do impersonations, I do impressions, but there are guys out there that that's what they do. 24/7, they rehearse and they practice and they get hundreds and hundreds, and they just, remember Rich Little. I mean,
you know what? You read my mind. I was just going to say Rich Little.
Yeah, I mean, he, and he's still out there. He's still out there, and he's in Vegas, and he's still performing and doing his thing. But there's a man that devoted his entire life to impersonations. Danny Gans, God rest his soul, another guy in Vegas. There are so many. Frank
Corson?
No, Corando. I mean, there are those guys. Those guys just, that's all they do. I love picking certain, I might do 30, 40 impersonations, but I try to get them as good as I can, and I rather do quality rather than quantity. And then add a variety of other things, comical, audience participation, and make the show a roller coaster of to bring people into different emotions that will go on through that I'm allowed to be on that stage before they drag me off.
Audience participation is very important because you're getting them to participate. When they're participating, whether they're doing the wave or they're screaming or they're clapping or whatever, they're smiling, or they're just having a great time, and that's the idea of an entertainer.
Exactly.
If you can get them to participate, oh yeah, and then they want encores. So you're doing your job then. But you're not just looking at it as something you have to do. It's something that you love to do, and you just do it.
No, exactly.
With enthusiasm and chutzpah and charisma all the way around. Yeah.
Exactly. And as artists, people think that we are happy all the time, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and every time we're going to step on a stage, we're so excited to be there, and for the most part that is true. But we are human, and all of us at some point in our lives, we've all stepped on a stage, and whether it's been tired or whatever it is, step on a stage, and right before we get there, it's like, I'm just so tired. I don't want to do this. But as soon as we step on that stage, the lights go on, and bang, something happens, and it just lights up, and we light up, and the bottom line is what we do and what we should be doing. The audience should never know that we're tired. They should never know that we're having a bad day. They're there to be entertained, to forget about their phone bills, to forget about everything in their lives, and just be there and enjoy and forget and enjoy the music.
Oh,
that's just me.
That's right, entertainment. That's entertainment. Da da la 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 da da la 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 la. That's entertainment. Oh yeah.
I'm getting too old for this. Get off the lawn.
Can you do Johnny Carson? Did he ever do it?
Yeah, Johnny Carson. Well, no. Well,
yeah, he used to do that. Rich Lewis.
I used to do. It's funny because I used to do Johnny Carson a lot, and I have not impersonated him in years. I used to do the great Carlini. You're
talking about
what was his name?
Karnak.
I did a whole. I used to do a whole thing as the amazing Karnak. I
love that. That was something.
I forgot all of those. Two bottles and a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. Now he was an amazing talent.
Yeah, he was a great Carsonian growing up, and then he became Karnak. And Ed McMahon, of course, he really helped him out tremendously. Oh yeah,
without a doubt.
Carson would say something like, "It's so cold," and you say, "How cold?"
Yep.
It's so cold. Eskimo slid in his tutu into an igloo. That type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it amazing that we, as much as we're out front, there are always people there supporting behind us and beside us, and making what we do easier and seamless.
That's right.
Just, and Ed McMahon, the teamwork of Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, Abbott and Costello. You know, there was always that back and forth that just made it so precious.
That's right. It would be back and forth, Dean and Jerry. You know, from serious to comical, back and forth. Those two had a feud 2 years ago, and then eventually they made up.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to Jerry Lewis now. I tried to get on as an entertainer just to volunteer it, but that wasn't meant to be. They wanted me to take calls, and I wanted to do the apparently you needed the right connection to get to do it. It was just a free performance, but it would have been fun. To have done that. And he put on quite a show. He did quite a show for years.
He always.
We mentioned music, dancing, performing. What are your happiest memories? And also, has there ever been a time that you tried so hard? You're very trying, but things just didn't work out quite so well. And how did you handle that if that ever happened, Tony?
Oh, sure. You know, one of the funniest moment, I'll start with that. The funniest moment, we were doing a meet and greet, and she had to have been 85, 86. I'm not sure how old, but delightful senior woman, just absolute, you know, it's like reminding me of my grandma. She comes up and she says, "Could I get an autographed picture?" I said, "Sure." So I gave her the picture. I autographed the picture and I gave it to her and looked at me and she says, "Is this an old picture?" And I said, "No, darling, it was taken 6 months ago." And she leans in and she says, "You've had a hard 6 months." You can't you can't even write. I mean, those are the moments that just make you laugh, and it just brings back those memories. That's
interesting. Yeah. Any more stories? You know, remember the old saying, if anything can go wrong, it can and will. Murphy's Law. So any other things, comedy experiences, that things you just tried your best and they just weren't quite working out, and if that's the case, then how were you able to pull it out? And, you know, the show goes on.
Well, you know, there have been many times where, for example, in Atlantic City, I was there. I was supposed to be there for 2 nights, and they ended up keeping me for almost 9 months, 7 or 9 months, and they were turning the theater into the Tony Pace Theater. I was going to be a signature artist of Atlantic City, and I was just so excited at the time. I've made it. I now have my own showroom, and all of a sudden, the casino, somebody comes back and says the casino's been sold, and they're going in a different direction. So, you know, I was just. It was like one of those moments where you're on cloud 9, and then the rug is pulled out, and we looked at each other, and it was you know, I am truly a believer that everything happens for a reason, and it doesn't devastate me as much at this point, or it hasn't in a long time, because if you just wait and you believe that things happen for a reason, and God has me covered, and I believe it. Sure enough, you know, all of the different things. Had I been there, I wouldn't have been able to do some of the other things in Atlantic City, in Vegas, and some of those other things. So the mishaps that we term as mishaps, in an essence, are just necessary movements in order to get us to the next step.
So the casino was sold. So what happened next? How did you proceed?
We were out of work because we had canceled an entire 6 to 8 months. I ended up in a Vegas show, a road show that was out of Vegas. I ended up in that, and we toured for 4, 5, 6 months, and from there, we did end up in Vegas. I would have never ended up in Vegas had that not happened. So a year later, my wife and I celebrated, what was it, 25 years of our 25th wedding anniversary at that time, and we went out to Vegas, got married by Elvis.
Really? Thank you very much. It's a great, awesome audience.
We got married. We got officiated our.
That's beautiful. How did you two meet? How did you and your wife meet? By the way, you've been married for 25 years.
We're now married. It's 31.
Oh, 31 years. Okay.
Yeah, 31 years now, and we met in New Hampshire. She came out to a club, and I just, it was one of those things where we became best of friends, and little by little we just connected more and more and more every single day, and it's been I love her around me all the time, and we love being together.
Great. So you two have more in common than just a common cold. You two hit it off. You became friends first, and then eventually became true romantic lovers, and now you decided to get married to each other.
Absolutely. We got married in 1990, and we've been pretty much on the road ever since. We've spent 9 months together, her and I, traveling the United States.
Wow.
Just her and I, and we absolutely loved it, and we're looking forward to doing it again.
That's beautiful. This reminds me of a movie I just saw with Robin Williams, in which it was called RV. I had all kinds of comedy experiences. You probably seen there. Yeah.
You remember that first time that they went to the dumping station, an RV? I had no clue what to do. That was me.
That was you?
That was me. That was just, I had no clue how to dump or do anything. And,
I see.
It was just, we ended up, we needed to go. We needed to do the tour, and we bought the RV, and we spent about 2 weeks until keeping the RV on at night, and with the engine on to heat the backside. And it was funny that somebody at one of the theaters said, "No, here's what you got to do," and he clicked one button and changed our whole lives. So the key to life is when somebody says, "Let me give you a lesson," you go, "Please." When you don't know what to do, just go, "Thank you, please. Show me what I need to do."
That's how you learn. That's right. Two ears and one mouth. Exactly how you learn.
That is truly that is it.
Important to listen. Oh yeah, I know as a talk show host, I must listen. I don't know everything. That's for sure. I can learn. But
none of us do.
People are fascinating. So you travel all over. It sounds like in the RV, and it sounds like you've been all over on your performances in Vegas and Atlantic City, and you've done some cruising also. It sounds like. Yeah,
I've done cruising all over the world. The only place that I haven't been right now is China. China and North Korea. I don't play basketball, so they won't let me into either place. I dressed up. We were down in Antarctica, and that's one of my favorite places to go. I've been down there 3 or 4 times already. All of these places are just amazing. The history, Egypt. I don't know. I'm sure you've traveled the world as well. Egypt again was one of my favorites. To see the history that was there, to touch those pyramids, and it's just a wonder to me that 3,000 years ago somebody was standing there painting what I was touching. It's just an amazing amazing thing.
All over Antarctica.
Antarctica, yeah.
Didn't you do an impression of Elvis over there? Didn't you appear as Elvis in Antarctica?
Yes, I did. The Chilean base. I said to it was a seaborne line, and they are so gracious. We took the Zodiac. I was dressed as Elvis. I mean, the whole outfit, dressed as Elvis with the Zodiac going in. I landed on Antarctica in the base. Went into the base, and the guys at the base, the officers, it was as though that Elvis had literally landed, and one of the guys just stopped what he was doing and turns around and goes, "Oh my God, Elvis! Elvis is here!" And they just started playing Elvis music, and they wanted pictures, and it was just the smiles on their faces were just amazing.
What a happy memory. Did you try to sound, were you able to sound like Elvis or do some of the moves or sing at all?
Oh yeah. Elvis is let me see what Can't Help Falling in Love is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
And you, I mean, this is what you do.
Love it.
What men say, only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. But I can't help falling in love with you.
Beautiful.
Like it.
Thank you very much. You're great. That's beautiful. That really is. Oh yeah. Wow.
So many incredible memories. You know, Elvis, all there, and there is an icon that we lost way too young.
I agree. I wish he would have lived longer. It's too bad. Unfortunately, he was addicted to the drugs, and he had all kinds of problems. And
yep.
You know, he had the Memphis Mafia. They loved him, and they were with him for many years. They ended up writing the book Elvis: What Happened. You remember that book?
Right. Yeah, and
Elvis was upset. He says, "I thought the guys that really loved me and cared about me for years, I didn't think they would turn on me like that."
Yeah, it's tough, you know. And here's a man that that was generous beyond. I mean, he was generous beyond measure. He gave as much as he received. He gave it out, and just he tried to help people as well. And
well, unfortunately, it wasn't meant for me to meet the king. It was, you know, he was my all-time idol and inspiration. But I did have the International Hotel was something, that experience. I mean, he was going out in the audience, making love to the women. And if a guy came up, he's, "How you doing, sir?" But I mean, he would give the scarves out and hug and kiss the women, going right through
That's
it.
awesome.
And of course, anyway, the producer I worked with, although I didn't meet the king myself, Chris Beard from the Gong Show, the co-producer I worked with, he knew Elvis well, as he wrote the comedy, him and his partner Alan Bly, for the '68 NBC Elvis comeback special. And he said to me, "We know what you can do." The first time when someone said you can't do it, you're going to get called. I said, "You're wrong. I'm going to win." And sure enough, we all shook him up and won. Then when they called me back for the new show, his staff was rude. They were rude. I said, "If you don't like what I'm doing, I'm out of here." Called me back, and he said, "Johnny, you can do Teddy Bear, do whatever you want." So took over the whole show, and it was like Elvis and the Beatles. I couldn't believe it. I mean, there was hugging, kissing, screaming, lips in the face, cheering, and applauding. I felt like Elvis right there doing it.
There you go.
And there was a show dedicated to me also at Johnny Blaze Day. You know,
yep.
The Hawaii special was doing blue suede shoes. The Johnny Blaze Day was going out in the audience, kissing the women, shaking the guys' hands. I got a standing ovation doing it was Jailhouse Rock.
Right.
Got him going and everything. And well, unfortunately, the best part was taken out when they put me up on the shoulders like the winning touchdown. Got a standing ovation though. It was beautiful. Right. Those performances you can see on JohnnyBlaze.com. You can see at the very end of under videos, the last page.
Right there, I saw. You know, so many people that were part of your history. Now, was that your mom? In there were a couple of interviews that she was talking.
You must have seen. Did you see the trailer of the movie Gong But, my documentary Gong But Not Forgotten, the original Johnny Blaze story, or see the actual the entire movie? I don't know if you
You know what? I saw. I don't know if it was the entire movie. It was at length. It was probably about an hour, someplace around there.
Yeah, it was over an hour. Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
You
So
saw?
it was probably that I saw.
Oh, so you must have seen the entire movie. It
Yeah.
sounds like. Well, I hope that you enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
it was just great. It was great.
Good. That's great. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely. I just, you know what? I just loved your energy. You just, you're, and people don't realize that we're all constantly the entertainers. We spend most of our lives being told what we can't do, and that you can't do this and you can't do that, and you're too old or you're too young, you're too this or too that, and it's not something you can do. And you were there, right there, and you just really took it to heart and said, no, I can do, I can do this.
Well,
Just
I feel
watch
the same. I feel the same as you, Tony. I'm keeping the pace, and
just watch me.
Well, I love it. I imagine I was Elvis, and that's what the reactions were. It was entertaining. It really is. You're not going to find anything like that again. That's for sure. But it was a once in a lifetime blast from the past. It was beautiful.
It is. It is.
I'm glad that you enjoyed that. I'm really glad that you did.
It's the memories. It's the memories that we take with us, and we have conversations, and we'll be sitting. 50 years from now, we'll be sitting in a rocking chair on the and we'll look at each other, and in those immortal words, you'll turn to me and say, "Who are you?"
Wow, you have some other great impressions. You've done Michael Jackson now.
Yep.
I think you did some other ones. What was that one? Willie Nelson. Remember that? There was a Willie Nelson song.
Oh, which I'm trying to think of which.
To all the girls that.
Remember
that one?
Yes. You know what? That's the one that I'm trying to think of. That's Willie and Julio.
Right,
Willie
Nelson.
What
right.
was the one that Willie Nelson did? Always was it Always on My Mind?
Always, yeah, he did Always on My Mind. So did Elvis, and there was Julio Iglesias also. To All the Girls I Loved Before. Remember that song?
Yes, yeah. I think we've got To All the Girls. Willie Nelson. Let me see if I can bring it back. To all the girls I've loved before, we'll travel in and out my door. We're glad they came along. We'll dedicate that song to all the girls I want grace. In me I see yes the best. And they leave it in my heart, and I hear them all apart. To all the girls I loved before, the winds of change continue blowing, and every time I try to stay, the winds of change continue blowing, and they just carried me away.
Love it. That's great. You're going back and forth from
yeah.
Julio Iglesias going back and forth to Willie Nelson. That's great.
Yep.
You ever watch Johnny Carson? That was All the Girls I Loved Before. That was on there too. That was funny.
That was a long time ago.
His very last show, that was very interesting. He had so many shows. Bette Midler, so one for the road. You remember that one?
No, I don't. The song "One for the Road"?
Yeah, they were saying goodbye to Johnny after so many years, 30 years.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
Look that up.
Bette Midler, It was on his last show.
Yes.
Oh,
it brought tears to Johnny Carson's eyes. A very sentimental guy. At the very end, he said, "It's been an honor and privilege of coming to your homes many years. I found something that I really enjoyed."
Yep.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
And he cried about tears to him.
Yep.
So Johnny Carson was spectacular. He really was. He had so many great guests. And it was so much fun. Oh yeah.
And he was timely. He was timeless, and he was he was the perfect fit for that time. You look at some of these artists that, like Red Skelton, perfect example. If you brought Red Skelton was an amazing artist, and if you bring Red Skelton today and have him the performance to some of the younger people today, they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't get it. They wouldn't find him funny, and I've experienced it where people like Johnny Carson and Red Skelton and all of these guys that were timeless, and they're still out there today, but they got into a niche, and they were brilliant at what they did for the audience that they had.
Yeah, they met the needs of the audience, that's for sure.
Exactly.
It does take a special type of talent.
Exactly.
If you ever had a time where you had everything prepared, and for some reason you forgot something, a line or something in your performance was off, and you just weren't able to get it exactly the way you want it, and if you did, how were you able to handle such a thing? It takes a certain type of a person with the show, must go on, a certain way of doing it, handling something like this.
And that's part of the fact that none of the shows are ever scripted. The material that I do is all cue based according to a word. So when I step on stage, my production team they knew the first song and maybe the last one. And I remember there was a brilliant young man who was with me for a lot of years, and I missed traveling with him. Chris Bashand. I would write a set list. Hey, Chris, this is what we're going to do, and he'd look at the first song, crumple up the paper, and throw it over his shoulder. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, you're going to change it from the second song anyway. So and it's true. It was always been true. Is I step on stage, do the first song, and then something attracts me, and we just go with it. If there's a lyric that's missing, I just add a different lyric, and it becomes a parody.
So you improvise. You improvise and create.
Oh, absolutely. I tell the musicians that share the stage with me all the time. I'll joke and I'll say, listen, if you make a mistake, do me a favor, do it again, and when you've done it the second time, make the same mistake on the third time. It'll belong there, and nobody will know the wiser. Wow,
I love your 4-octave voice. Just the way you sang "Cara Mia." Boy, is that beautiful.
Yeah, that is truly a signature piece. And back in the day, I'll tell you, I remember one night it was probably about a smaller 300, 400 seater up in the New England area, and these people, hardcore, they came out in the middle of a snowstorm, and I said, guys, the night's yours. What do you want to hear? And somebody yelled out, "Cara Mia," and I sang it, and I said, all right, and I put a chair down and said, where do we go from here? And somebody said, sing it again. So I sang "Cara Mia" 5 times in a row.
Wow.
They wanted "Cara Mia" 5 times in a row, and by the 5th time, after the 5th time, they said, do it. I said, don't even go there.
They loved "Cara Mia." They kept asking over and over again. They were getting their Tony Pace fix. They were getting all addicted. Just loving it.
And it's just that, you know, Karamia, Jay Black, and again, Gary Puckett, all of those guys, Roy Orbison, you know, those, they were, that was a time of crooners. Those were, and I don't mean the crooners like Dean Martin or Frank Sinatra, or, you know, those guys. I mean, they were powerhouse vocals that just came out and just would hit these notes, and would be, you know, it would be that powerful. And
love to hear it. I love to hear Karamia with that booming 4-octave voice that you have.
Do we have? I'll do a little bit of it here, but let me see, which one do we have? Karamia. Why must we say goodbye? And each time we part, my heart wants to know. Darling, hear my prayer, Karamia fair, and I'll be your love till the end of time. Karamia, and each time we part, my heart wants to die. Darling, hear my prayer, Karamia fair, and I'll be your love till the end of time.
Oh, bravo. That was spectacular. Just incredible. Blazing hot, Tony. Boy.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Boy, can you sing. To hold those notes and vibrate it like that and put so much soul, your mind, body, heart, and soul, put everything into it.
Those were great, you know, and that's the music. I loved that type of music. Like I said before, the Broadway, those, you know, the Jay Black, the Roys, and all of those guys.
I love the other ones too, Roy Orbison or Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin. Any of those people were.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Boy.
And you're right. They put their heart and soul when they stepped and when they sang a song, it was their heart and soul right there.
Right. Oh yeah. You do any? I don't know if you do any. Michael Jackson, I saw you do that once. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little tough in his confined space, because it's.
I see.
Michael Jackson is more of a. I look at him as his character and just the dancing and the movement of it. It's an entire package. But
right.
You know what? Hopefully, I'll be able to come on again, and we'll open this up a little bit so that I can do the Chers and the Michael Jacksons and some of these other artists.
Oh yeah, we'd love to see that. Oh yeah, hear that. You can go on and on and on. Great entertainers and performers. Yeah. So you've learned, I guess, and you're probably multi-instrumental. How many instruments have you learned? You probably learned many instruments growing up.
Oh boy, I started being Italian. I grew up Italian. Actually, I'm still Italian, but yeah, that's how it works. And my very first instrument was the accordion, of course. That's a prerequisite for all Italians. And from there, I moved to the piano, which was an easy move. And then I morphed over to the guitar. And then little by little, my brother would try a different instrument. So he would move to the trumpet, and then he would just kind of go, nah, I don't want to play trumpet. Became part and parcel of what we were, what I wanted to do. I can play, but I'm not a virtuoso on any of these instruments.
So did you take lessons on these, or did you teach yourself?
I took lessons on the piano and a little bit on the guitar. The guitar I've been playing just as long as the piano itself.
What about voice? Did you take voice lessons?
Voice. I did not take lessons on voice until I got to college, and until I was 18 was the first time, or 17 was the first time that I started doing voice lessons.
I see. Okay, so now you also, besides doing your entertainment, your singing, your comedy, you do some fundraising also. I know that. Tell me about and talk to me about your fundraising experience. What do you fundraise? What groups? All about it and everything, and how you go about doing it. Some of your favorite charities and fundraising experiences that you've had.
I've been doing fundraising for the better part of over 30 years, and I've worked with the American Heart Association and a lot of veterans. The majority of my fundraising efforts have always been with veterans and children in need. Breast cancer; those are truly near and dear to my heart. They're if an organization comes to me and needs help, like I recently did one for an organization called Worcester Backs the Blue, and they wanted to do a fundraiser for first responders. So I was able to help them with that. And for the better part of over a few years, actually, I had my own nonprofit organization called Honoring the Uniform, and we did fundraising and we're helping veterans that were in need as far as that's concerned. So there's a song called Help Me Make This Place My Home Again, and that has raised some money, and it's all donated. So those are the things that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that I love helping people. This is why I really believe that God put me on this earth to be part of and to help and to make a difference in other people's lives. And that's
wonderful.
What I've been
You're
doing.
doing something that it's not something. It's something you just feel you have a special gift and you want to share it. You're sharing the love. You're bringing the love out.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. That is really beautiful.
Yep.
You prefer original songs or cover songs or both? What is?
I didn't understand the question.
Okay. Do you prefer original songs or cover songs or both? And if you do, what is there about it that you like?
Performing wise, I will, if I have original stuff that I'll do if somebody wants to hear it. I don't go out and do concerts of just original material. I just, I interject the music, original music. I interject the parodies, which ultimately are original, compositions. They're derivative works. So a lot of the music that I'll do during the show has some type of a form of parody, so it's an original aspect. But having the ability to do a little bit of all of it and give different flavors to people, I find is a perfect combination. It's like a 7-course meal. They come in. The first song is your appetizer, and then it goes from there. The meal goes from there, and you enjoy all of these courses, and then you get to dessert, and you just it's just a great.
What is your all-time, as far as memories, your all-time favorite venue and performance that you've ever had that really stands out? Is there anything that stands out in your career?
You know what? There are so many. One is the in Vegas, one of the first shows, my opening show at the Tropicana, and my parents, who really had never experienced my shows, because I was on the road, and they flew out to Vegas. They were in the audience, and here I am on the same stage that Elvis had been. And it was, the Tropicana is the Tiffany Room is a large stage. It's a 1,200 seat theater. So we had this whole set, and it was Father's Day. And I said, I introduced my parents. They stood up. The spotlights hit them, and my mother looked like the queen, just doing the wave. Going back and forth, and that was somebody said when they sat down, they looked at each other and said, "He's going to be okay." It was truly a foundational moment that my mother and father saw that I wasn't going to be a starving musician, so to speak. Little did they know, but.
That's something to be proud of, Tony. That really is something. And you were able to do it in front of your parents that you truly love.
Exactly.
And they love you, too.
Exactly. There have been moments where I've had my daughter, who has an incredible voice, and one of the first times that I brought her up on stage and heard her sing, there's some. I brought a high school in Vegas. I brought a high school. A drama club or a glee club or whatever the term is, but all of these kids who had never been in a show before, and I wanted to give them an experience, and watching their faces on a Vegas stage of doing that, that was, those are the moments that I've been able to just kind of sit back and go, yeah, this is cool. This is worth the price of admission for my life, and I'm doing something. My goal, and has always been, I get up in the morning, and my goal is just to leave this day a little bit better than I found it.
Well, that's what it sounds like. From what you do, you give it your all, and you want to bring love and happiness to people, and you're always trying to make the show better and better and make people happier and happier. That's what you're succeeding in doing, Tony.
Exactly.
As the pace goes forward, the positive, happy, exciting, blazing hot pace goes forward, Tony.
Absolutely.
You're a trailblazer. That you are. What about now your comedy now? Have you ever had any, you write your own material, or have you ever had any hecklers that you had to deal with? Tell me about your...
Oh, I always have hecklers. I actually welcome hecklers.
You do?
Hecklers are the best part of life. Are you kidding me? I had one heckler. He tried, with his whole heart. He within probably 2 minutes, he was on stage in a Hello Dolly outfit with a big brim hat, a dress, and doing "I'm a Little Teacup," which turned the tides. The bottom line that people don't realize is we are the ones with the microphone. Hello.
I see. He was trying to take the stage, but really, he couldn't upstage you, but you're upstaging him. It's the other way around.
Well, but that was just one of those moments, and he was just trying. When I talk about hecklers, that's one of those guys that just wants to have the limelight and wants you to go away. But there are guys that want to be a part of it, and those are the hecklers that I love bringing up. And And I term it as the Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis syndrome. So when I bring somebody up, what I try to ascertain is, do you want to be Dean Martin or do you want to be Jerry Lewis? So when they give me that, and I don't ask them, I can see it. When I see where they want to go, if I bring somebody up and he wants to be the Jerry Lewis and of the stage, then I'll be the Dean Martin. I don't need to be Jerry Lewis. We've got one. So he takes the limelight and I'll be the Dean Martin. If he wants to be Dean Martin, the straight man, then I'll be Jerry Lewis. And that just creates the magic. As far as I'm concerned, that's creating.
That's fun. That's creative.
Exactly.
And wherever he's not doing, you're taking that. So you're turning something that is totally down and you're bringing it right all the way up.
Right.
And then people smile and people are entertained that way.
And time and time again, I'm always getting, at the end of the show, so how long did you guys rehearse that bit? Or when did you rehearse that? Or how long did it take you? And it's like, we didn't rehearse anything.
Oh, wow. I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, to me, if you think that we rehearsed it, then we did it right.
I see. So you're you're improvising. You're thinking off the top of your head. If it doesn't work one way, you try something else.
First,
you don't. It works.
Yeah.
And whatever works, that's what happens. Have you ever in your experiences died on stage at all, Tony? Where everything just didn't?
There have been moments where, like there was one memory that the act that was supposed to be there couldn't make it, and it was an organization. They were looking for someone that was a little more crude, maybe, on the blue side, just swears and on that level, that type of entertainer, and like the Andrew Dice Clay. If somebody hires Andrew Dice Clay and then he can't make it and I step in, it's like the worst match of the world. I've never sworn on stage in my life, and it just is not a good match. And I can do what I can do, but if you're expecting Andrew Dice Clay and you bring Bill Cosby in, you're at a whole different. And that's the one time that I had. It was a challenge. It was a challenge for me.
So how were you able to overcome that and turn it from everything being horrible?
I remember I did more on the singing side, and it was more that audience participation where I was involving one-on-one rather than as a total audience, because I had to. If I was in that trying to entertain the entire audience, they were looking for something that I wasn't going to be able to give them, and that's okay. I wasn't willing. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. There are certain lines that I won't compromise, and that's one of them. I just, a lot of producers in Vegas and through my life has said, you need to do this. You need to be a little more of this or whatever. And it's like, no, I don't. I don't need to do that. This is who I am, and I'll do the best So
you gotta be yourself and do the best you can.
Exactly.
If you can turn boos into cheers, then you've accomplished something, and smile.
Exactly.
Which I'm sure you have. You probably have.
Yep. Well, there are so many times where I have stepped off a stage and went, oh, I'm going to have to give the money back. And they come back and say, that was the best show we've ever seen. And I'm thinking to myself, what show did you see? but it was just, it's a perception thing, and sometimes we are, or I don't even want to say sometimes, we are our own worst critics. The things that we feel that that I just bombed on there, and it's not true. It's not true. It's just our perception of what we can do and what we didn't do.
Better be surprised than disappointed. That's for sure.
Exactly.
That's what happened.
Yep.
Very good. Any advice? Do you have any advice now for people who want to make it, who wants to aspire to be entertainer, a comic, or dancer, or singer, whatever in entertainment? Do you have any advice on what they should do?
You know what? Learning, longevity. There's just so much information out there. You've got to learn your craft. You've got to know what you're looking to do. And the first thing that you have to do is soul search and figure out exactly what and where you want to go. The guys that want to be in today's market, if you want to be a comedian, you go after that specific genre, and whatever it is that you want to do, you go after it with the tenacity, and you have to wake up wanting it, and you have to go to sleep wanting it. But be kind to people and be kind to those around you.
Sounds like you're saying not to give up and to be persistent, right?
No. I mean, it's just, look, I've been doing it for 40 years, and it is not going to be an entire lifespan of the glorious moments. There are going to be downs, and there are going to be moments that will have you questioning why you're doing what you're doing. And at some point, like I said, I believe that God just kind of will just show himself and show exactly where you need to be, and just listen, be true to yourself, and do the best you can. And again, be true to yourself. Be who you are, not what somebody else wants you to be.
Tony, if you had to do anything over again in your career and in your life, is there anything that you would do differently?
No.
Or
not one thing, because everything that I have done, for better or that has come across as for better or worse, in other people's eyes, is the foundation of who I am, and who I will be. It's not for me to change. It's just I'm just a visitor here, and I'm not in any control. I joke about the fact that I'm here for the buffet. I just enjoy the ride and do the best I can.
That's great. So you wouldn't do anything differently, and you're very happy and content. It sounds like what you have done, accomplished in your life.
Absolutely.
You've had a very, very exciting, blazing, exciting, and wonderful and awesome life there, Tony Pace. That you have. And do you have any present projects that you're working on right now?
At the moment, I am in the process of we're recording a program called Get Your Act Together. Get Your Act Together, and it's a project that will address some of these issues and some of these things about, if you want to go on cruises, or if you want to be a cruise ship entertainer, if you want to do this or want to do this. And my goal is to just give insight to the artists, to the young artists. I've been mentoring a lot of artists along the way, and it's just a matter of paying it forward and trying to do the best. I see. So you're
passing on the information that you've acquired over the years.
Exactly.
To others.
Exactly. And with the other thing is, and that I'm truly excited about, for the past year with COVID and everything that's been happening, there's been very little work of anywhere. So I got plugged into Sunrise Church, which has been an incredible blessing, and I'm going through a leadership programs, and hopefully I will. I'm going to be very interested in seeing the where this all takes me with the career, as well as with the church, and you know, where God takes us.
That's wonderful. You're doing something from your heart that, again, that you truly
Absolutely.
love and believe in. Do you have any future dream projects that you haven't done, Tony, that you're thinking about doing going forward? Is there anything?
I'm just, you know what, I'm doing, and I have done all of the projects at this point in time. When they present themselves, and then I just take a look at it and kind of go, that would be a good idea. But along the way, all of the things that I've done the majority of everything that I always wanted to do.
I see. Okay. Good.
Yeah, I you know, now it's a matter of being around and seeing what comes up and jumping in with both feet and go, yeah, that's exciting. Let's try that.
You're a happy camper. You've accomplished
Absolutely
a lot and continue to do more and more. There you go.
Got it.
If people want to find out more about you, Tony, to keep the pace going for your career and what all about you, so they know,
Sure.
How can they go about finding out more about you, Tony?
Just online. You can go to tonypace.com, all one word, tonypace, PACE.com. The website has a variety of different things. You can go on YouTube, and there's a ton of stuff there. The Tony Pace Show, Facebook, Tony Pace Show. All of it is we've tried to keep it consistent. Tony Pace Show. They can Facebook and LinkedIn and all that, the social media aspect. But the website that's the central hub for everything is tonypace.com.
Okay. Now, as we get ready to wrap up, Tony, and I really, the time has gone by very fast. I've really enjoyed it. Do you have want to leave our audience with a parting? Is there a parting song that you would like to share?
Parting song. Ooh.
I don't know. Unforgettable. It could be anything. I don't know. What's in your heart.
Lee Greenwood.
Lee Greenwood. Okay.
Lee Greenwood. We just went through 9/11, and I tell you, never forget, we live in an incredible country. If tomorrow all the things were gone that I've worked for all my life, and I had to start all over, just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend us till today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Thank you so very, very much.
What a beautiful, inspirational song. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Blazing, amazing, inspirational, beautiful all the way around there, Tony. Thank you very much. I want to thank my guest, Tony Pace. You have been most inspirational, exciting, and interesting. I've really enjoyed having you on as a guest, Tony. And
thank you.
You're welcome. For all my fans and friends now, always keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart. Happy trails till next time, and blaze out.
If you would like to be a guest on a Zoom entertainment talk show, please send us an email at amazingoriginalJBshow@gmail.com. And remember, all of our guests will receive a complimentary DVD of their appearance on the show. All of our shows appear on YouTube and Facebook, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every single show receives at least 2,000, 3,000, sometimes 4,000 views per episode. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing, original Johnny Blaze has just left the building. Good night, and God bless.